So you got 20 seconds. So
I'm live.
Oh.
You start.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us today here on Facebook Live. I'm AJ Pinto. I'm the recruitment lead for digital here at Accenture. I'm joined by my colleagues Chris and Isabel. Why don't you guys tell us a bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Zhong. I am a senior manager in Accenture Digital, and I lead the blockchain go-to-market practice here. I joined the firm for 6 months now, and before that, I worked for Microsoft Australia here for 7 years. I used to be the lead cloud architect, was really working with different customers on building cloud solutions. I'm technical background, always a technologist, and I did my bachelor degrees in the uni and then joined a technical consulting firm, and then Microsoft and Accenture. So fairly a good career so far, and I'm really glad to share some of my experience with you guys today.
Certainly. Thanks.
Excellent, Chris. My name is Isabel Shurun. I'm a management consultant in the products team here at Accenture. My career is not as long. I came over to Australia around 4 years ago to do my master in accounting and finance, and after that I worked in corporate finance, so really a finance numbers background. I joined Accenture around 4 or 5 months ago, and in my particular team, which is focused on finance, I can really leverage the skills I built in my previous role, but also grow and have more opportunities to learn in a bit of a different field. Yeah.
Great, thanks for that. So at this time of the year, we find a lot of us reflecting on our personal and professional life, where we also consider new career opportunities and open to explore new opportunities. So we're hosting this session with a view to hopefully provide you with some insights, share experiences and points to think about when you're looking for your next career opportunity. So with that in mind, Chris, I'll go to you. Do you want to share maybe what prompted you to explore new career opportunities?
Sure, it's a great question, AJ, because I wasn't looking until you approached me. So it's a bit of an untraditional approach because I was headhunted before I joined Accenture. However, all the way along my career, I have very clear long-term vision of where I want to go career-wise. I always want to do the general management, become a general manager or C-level for a large international firm. So in order to get to where I want to go, there are certain skills I want to grab. So for example, you want to have people management skills, you want to have sales skills, you want to have business management skills, as well as the subject matter expertise, which is the technology skills. So I always plan my career, and each role I will look at it and see what experience I can get in that particular role. So when AJ started talking to me and have an open mind and really looking at what opportunities Accenture offer, which is really great coming to my current role, which is really go-to-market role, that giving me the sales experience, the marketing experience, and also doing strategy as well, which I really enjoy. So I think having a long-term vision as well as keep an open mind, when you grow your career, that's very important.
Right. So I timed it right, luckily.
Absolutely.
I very much agree with you, Chris. Typical millennial. After around 2 years in my previous role, I was very comfortable. I loved the team. I learned a lot. I really enjoyed working in that area. But I was kind of looking for something different, something more where I could grow my skills, different clients I could work with. So I actually reached out to my network and was just asking in my network about what areas are you working in, how do you like your firm, and this is how I was connected with a more senior person at Accenture, who I then met and who told me about the clients, about the projects, about the opportunities, which really inspired me because that really resonated with me, because I'm at an earlier stage in my career, so I want to grow my career now. I kind of want to take all opportunities I can. I'm happy to travel, which I love to do, and if someone pays me to do it, even better. Go to different countries, work with different clients on different projects, like a very fast-moving environment, very well-known clients, and opportunity to grow within Accenture, like not only with your team, but working cross teams, or even moving teams or locations to work on certain projects that really inspire me.
Great, great. So on that, maybe share, what about Accenture really got your attention at that point in time?
Well, Accenture it's a massive company. It's global. As I mentioned earlier, I moved to Australia. I'm originally from Germany. So the Accenture being that global and the opportunity to move around, that was really appealing to me. At the same time, as I mentioned, Accenture works with some of the biggest clients in the industry, which really gives you this opportunity to test your skills, but also build your network. And as we heard before, that's like a very key thing in your career anyway. So the earlier you start, the better. But what I found out like very much at the start is the whole Accenture culture. It's very much a culture of like growing and developing your career. You're in the driver's seat. You can do with your career what you want to do, and you have people around you who support you.
That's really good.
I quite agree with you, Isabel, on this, because I think Accenture is a huge company, and if you look at what we do, we literally do everything, right? We are not just a consultant firm. We are actually doing operation, we're doing digital, we're doing strategy, we're doing a lot of things, as you can imagine. And it's very important to join a firm that is global, that supports international opportunities, as well as to help you to grow and navigate within the firm itself. Because if you want to say, I want to change a discipline from a technology role to a sales role, sometimes it's very hard for you to go to another firm to say, I wanted this sales job, but I don't have any experience. Well, in a firm like Accenture, with a supported management, supported team, and you could be able to grow your skills within the firm and actually grow your career to the directions you actually want. So that is the opportunities and really what Accenture attracted to me. And the second one is, I think my previous employer, Microsoft, and Accenture as well, they are both great company, and they're holding very high standards towards their employee. So I think for the audience, when you chose your next employer, I think chose something that's going to challenge you. Don't go to something easy. Go to something hard, which can push you to grow and help you to learn as much as you can. And Accenture is that high standard company.
I really agree with that, and I think a good point with that is as well, when we talk about networking, it's a lot about like networking with people from different companies, different industries, but really when you're working in such a big firm, it's really networking between teams as well, because as you just mentioned, that might open an opportunity you wouldn't have otherwise to actually make a career change, to go down a different path that you just want to explore, and that might be your opportunity, and you can network within the company, which feels probably way more comfortable than actually reaching out to someone externally.
Yeah, absolutely. All great suggestions and advice there. And I feel from a recruiter's perspective, if I could share any advice when looking for an ideal employer, it's very important to understand what is it that you're really after as well. You've actually got to have a criteria, just like when you're applying for a job. that will have a criteria for who's a suitable candidate. You need to spend time and reflect upon what is it that you're really looking for from your employer. To some, it could be working on the latest tools or technology. For some, it's getting that industry experience across various industries. So spending time reflecting on what's important for you and coming together with the key factors will help you identify who your key ideal employers are as well.
So once you then, let's say, decided you kind of like have narrowed it down, there are 2 specific companies you're really interested in because they resonate with your values, you're interested in the clients or the area they're working with. So how would you make your application stand out from like a recruiter's perspective?
Good question. I think there's a couple of ways, or there's heaps of ways, but a couple of points that I'd like to touch on, and something in line with what you covered earlier. So first off, when you've really identified your ideal employer, it's then about the job or the role that's available. Spend time to really understand what the role requires, and spend time to understand the criteria that they require, because at the end of the day, the employer has a gap there. They're looking for someone to come in and help them, and you're the solution. So understand what is it, the key criteria is. And there's a few ways you can go about it. One is definitely online, do your own research. There's heaps of tools and resources available freely for anyone. 2, which is just as important, if not a bit more, is those networks you just spoke about as well, because I think that's really, really valuable. And you'll be surprised at how quickly you can grow your network, or even if you just get a bit more proactive, go out there, dig in within a personal and professional network to spend time, chat to people to understand what those companies are like to work for, what is it that people need in those kind of roles. And that's all valuable information that you can sort of take and put it in your application, or utilise that during the conversations you're having or during the interviews you're having as well, to highlight how you meet those key criteria set out by the company for that role. So hopefully that answers the question.
It's a great point, I think, AJ. From my own experience, I think the networking is really important. Is most of my job, I change roles, always in the firm is always being approached or headhunted. I think it's very important to have a good resume and cover letter, but at the same time, to be able to expand your network. And another important thing is, when I look at the job description or where I want to go, I probably not look at it before 1 month ago or 2 months ago. I probably look at it a year ago, because that gives you time to prepare, to grow the skill set, that is to be able to fill the gap. Because when I look at it, then I probably see this job description is too high for me, then I won't be able to apply, right?
Yeah.
However, if you give yourself enough time and intentionally on your current job, be learning that skills intentionally, I think that will increase the chance of you successfully apply for the job as well.
It's very impressive, and thank you for sharing that.
I think from a more junior perspective, like your networks start really early, like at uni, even at high school. Like people go different paths, different careers, but if you just keep in touch, like it's sometimes on a very personal level, sometimes you reach out through LinkedIn because you see they got a new role and you congratulate them, and it's just keeping in touch and keeping these opportunities to reach out and to just sometimes, for me, it was really important to understand what the role would be, what the day-to-day tasks would be, because a job description is always very, like the ideal candidate would be described, but obviously you bring your own uniqueness to this role. You have unique skills that might not be described, but that's really what would make you stand out from other candidates. So I think if you have a chance to talk to someone in the same area or even industry, just to get a better understanding, to really know what you're applying for, you can present yourself better. And yeah, as you grow in your career, you will build these networks, and then, like Chris said, you might then end up rather getting headhunted and actually hunting for a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point there. And I can totally agree to that. Be yourself, but also highlight how you're adding value or you're meeting the criteria which you always set out. So the year ahead, what are you really excited about in 2019?
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. I think I have a particular passion for like retail and consumer products. I've always been passionate about it. I've worked in e-commerce before. I've worked with retail brands before. So I think retail is a great space to watch. I think there's a lot to come, especially looking overseas, the US, the UK. It seems like they're a bit more ahead, but I think Australia's catching up. I think a lot, and which would be great opportunities for Accenture to support clients, is technology that is introduced, like not only online sales increasing, but also technology that is used to understand the customer better, to provide this unique customer experience, to really make yourself stand out in such difficult market situations. But on the other hand, it might be just opportunities of looking at insufficiencies, looking at processes and finding more optimal processes, or how could things be done better. So how I'll be involved in projects in this regards, in this area, because I think it's changing a lot, and change is a good thing. It keeps you moving, it keeps you interested,
Yeah,
makes you grow.
absolutely. Bruce?
So Isabel's focus is in the industry specific, while mine is technology specific. So my job cover basically every industry, and my job is really to look at industry's trend and seeing how I'm going to go to market with that particular technology. So it's quite a challenging a job, but satisfactory, because you get to learn the cutting edge technologies all the time, and you have to look at all the challenges in different industries. So my days filled with reading Gartner reports, you know, the analyst report, the forest reports, and going to conference and speaking sort of leadership, and also you have to have that sort of business acumen to understand if I put in this blockchain offering there, you know, who's going to buy, what the problem is going to solve, how I'm going to go to the market, you know, with these offerings. So it's a very, very challenging but enjoyable role, I would say. In 2019, I think with the technology like blockchain, AI, IoT, autonomous robotics, those new technology maturing, as well as we call it's a social and economic infrastructure maturing, I quite look forward to see really new innovative business and economic model coming out of this space, and be really creating those lasting impact to our large enterprise customers.
Wow. So it's safe to say you guys are enjoying your roles so far?
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
And follow-up question, why are you enjoying the role that you're doing?
I think for me, as I mentioned before, I was looking for opportunity to grow, and I've been on two very different projects so far that challenged me, that I could leverage my skills, but at the same time I had to learn, and I had to learn on the go, and I had to pick up so many new skills while at the same time utilizing the ones that I had. So I think that's a big part of me really enjoying it, because what I imagined my role would be and the opportunities I would have actually becoming in a reality makes me very happy, because it kind of reassures me that I did make the right decision.
Yeah, that's great.
For me, it's constant learning. Today I might work with large logistic companies for their supply chain solutions. Tomorrow I might work with a large bank, you know, for their risk calculation solutions. So that's sort of constant learning, constantly challenging myself. So that's really enjoyable. The other is Accenture is quite a lot of smart people working in this company. I think you will really enjoy the peers and the management support here to help you to making decisions, give you the flexibility for you to I guess, give you the flexibility to work while providing that safety net to make sure that if you fail, you feel safe. I think that's really important.
Good
I
point.
actually really like that because I think maybe what makes Accenture more unique is it really promotes your personal brand, your uniqueness as a strength. So you can really be yourself and hopefully then perform at your highest possible level
Yeah.
to bring the benefit either like in going to market or actually being on the ground at the client side, but feel like you can be yourself, and with like this support you can perform better.
Yeah, no, excellent, very good points. I'm certainly looking forward to all the opportunities that are going to come through from all the interesting work as well Chris and the rest of the team here at Accenture are doing. So there'll be heaps more career opportunities we'll go to market with, and looking forward to sharing with you guys. So that brings us to the end of the session, but we will open up to questions from our audience members to say if there's any questions we can answer it. I'll just skip. So I've got one for Chris from Johnny. He goes, hey Chris, what are some of the trends we should look out for? I suppose in your area, or maybe you could talk about digital.
Okay, I think blockchain application within enterprise, it's a very interesting area because we have done quite a lot of POCs, globally in the previous year, and now we see the fruition of the POC, that's the acronym, proof of concept, start to move into production. And I would start to see probably hitting 3 key strategic areas, which is payment, second is digital identity, and the third is supply chain, which we expecting to see the wider adoptions of the technology in those 3 areas.
Really good. So probably a couple of other questions that come to mind from job seekers is how do we keep on top of new job opportunities, and where do we go to understand a bit more about Accenture? So heading over to our career section is the first point. It's a really good idea. That's accenture.com/careers. You can also follow us on Instagram, that's @AccentureANZ, or like our Facebook page. The other question is also how do we get a better understanding of the different areas within Accenture and get in contact with the recruiters. Again, the Accenture website is a great page to start off with to understand anything about digital products, communication, media technology, and the rest. We also have our contact details up on the website there. And yeah, thanks again everyone for joining us on the session. It was great to host this. Thanks Chris, thanks Isabel.
Thank you,
Thanks so
AJ.
much, AJ.